All right, so what's up, man? I'm back with another video again. This time I'm gonna be talking about the Superman trailer and the Superman movie. Now I know I am pretty fucking, I am pretty late to this, whole topic and all that. But I just felt the need to still talk about it, just because I'm a big DC. I'm just a big DC fan in general. I'm like a big DC nerd. I love like the comics. I love like the animated shows, and I even loved like the old universe as well, the old cinematic universe, the DCEU. So I just felt like giving my takes and my opinions on the new Superman and everything surrounding it that I know of, at least. And yeah, the first thing I wanted to start off with is like the costume. Uh, my opinions on that are pretty mixed because I don't think it looks as good as the Henry Cavill suit. And people are gonna say like, oh, it's more comic book accurate in this and that. But I think overall the Man of Steel suit, the Henry Cavill suit, it was just better. Like I feel like it looked more higher quality. It didn't really look like kind of cheap like the Henry Cavill one does. And they'll try to say, oh, it doesn't look cheap, but when you can see like the lines and this and that, it does look kind of cheap. To say one thing though, I do like the colors better on the David Corenswet suit, because that is the new actor. I do like the colors on it a bit more. They're like a bit more vibrant and stuff. So I do like that, and I do think that part and that aspect is better than the Henry Cavill suit. But other than that, that is like the only positive. I don't also like the trunks. Again, people say it's comic book accurate and this and that, but I really don't feel like I really don't. I just don't rock with them, to be honest. Like, it's just they don't look too bad, but I would just rather not, because not everything from the comics is gonna translate super good into live action. Majority of the people that go to the cinemas to watch these movies, anyways, don't read the comics and they don't really care about the comics, anyways. So, I think trying to include like ridiculous decisions just because of that little small comic book accurate section of the audience, it's kind of ridiculous to me. But the other thing I also wanted to talk about as well was the actors. Now, I've seen just a lot of stuff going on Twitter about how people feel about some of the actors. Me personally, I don't really have an issue with any of them. I think David Corenswet, it took time, but he did grow on me. And I think he's okay as like the new Superman. I think Henry Cavill is still definitely the best though. Like that man literally is just Superman. Like literally just bred to be Superman, bro. It's like it's not even close. But I can definitely David Corenswet has also definitely grown on me as well. And I will say, all the other actors I've seen as well, like the Lex Luthor one, the the Guy Gardner one looks kind of ridiculous to me because he looks kind of old. I don't know if that's just me. Like I know in the comic books he doesn't. I don't know how old he's supposed to be like in the comics, but he doesn't look like as old as like the actor playing him in the trailer does. And the Lois Lane, she looks fine. I've seen some people on Twitter say she's ugly, but honestly, that's just a personal like preference thing at this point. Uh, and what I think the movie is gonna be about though. I think I've seen different theories as to what it's gonna be about, but for the most part, people just say that it's gonna be about, Lex Luthor, since we see him a lot in the trailer, and people think Ultraman is going to be like the main villain that Superman's fighting. And I think, yeah, I think he's probably gonna be the main villain as well. I think under the mask, it's probably going to be like like David Cornsweat under the mask as well, and it's gonna be like David Cornsweat versus David Cornsweat. And overall, I'm just excited. At least it's something new, and I think before we all start hating on it, we should at least give it a chance to see if it will at least be good. James Gunn is another thing as well. Like using his track record. A lot of people, because there are a lot of people that are saying, "Oh, based on James Gunn's track record, this movie's gonna be good." But also, there's also a lot of people saying, "Oh, based on James Gunn's track record, this movie is gonna be bad, right? Because he's only good at writing like superhero team ups and this and that is not what a first Superman movie should be about. Now, I definitely think there's good arguments on both sides for sure. But like I said, I'm just more willing to go into this with like an open mind to see, how it goes. Cause at the end of the day, if the general audience rocks with it and it's good, then if you're a true DC fan, then it's a win for you. Like I said, I still think Henry Cavill was the perfect Superman, but at some point, at some point, you just gotta let it go. So if the new universe is like successful in this and that, then yeah, but on the other side as well, people saying that they don't really like James Gunn is definitely valid as well. I can't really fault you on that. I didn't really know much about him because I never really watched like the Guardians movies, right? And people are gonna say, oh, you're uncultured for this or that, bro. I really did not care about like the MCU other than like all the Avengers movies or anything outside of like the Avengers movies and the Spider-Man movies. I did not watch or care for or about them, right? But even after that as well, it's but yeah, no, I've definitely seen some questionable things about James Gunn, like just shit that he says on Twitter, shit that he said on Twitter, right? Shit. Even he apparently he keeps like saying different stuff, a bunch of just stuff on Twitter every day, and yeah, that definitely a lot of people definitely don't want to support like his movie because of that. And I mean, yeah, it's valid to be honest, but I still do want the movie to be a success, even if I personally don't care for Gunn himself, right? Uh, yeah, it's mainly that as well. The other thing I wanted to talk about as well was just like all the other like shows that are quote unquote canon to the new DCU, like Creature Commandos. Bro, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't seen it. I've heard it's good, and I have seen some clips of it that are kind of good, but I just don't know, to be honest. I've never really been a fan of like those obscure comic book characters and stuff like that. Like, don't get me wrong, I am into some obscure comic book characters, but like Creature Commandos was just not one of them. Like I've never really heard of them like that even before now. And it probably is good, but me personally, there's just a bunch of other stuff I've heard of in the DCU timeline that I'm a bit more excited for, like the Green Lantern series I heard was coming out, starring like Aaron Pierre, and just a bunch of other stuff as well. Overall, like I said, I'm not. This video isn't meant to be too deep. It's not like I'm an insider or anything. I'm just using like the knowledge that I know overall. And I just hope it's good. If anything, the trailer is at least making me somewhat hopeful. So when it's time for the movie to drop in July of this year, I think let's just hope it translates into sales, and that we can finally really just get up there with the DC universe in general. But yeah, that's about it.